News at noon, another option to help clubs in Bloomington. The plan's being discussed by Bloomington City Council.
The president is preparing to name a new task force focused on reopening the country. I'm Natalie Brand with what health experts say will go into that decision.
And keeping spirits up with a little music, how one DJ is adapting to keep others entertained. Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Janie Bowman. Mark and Shelby have the afternoon off. Many small business owners are hoping to bring back employees they were forced to lay off after the stay-at-home order ends. The Illinois Chamber of Commerce believes the July minimum wage increase would make that plan much harder. The state's minimum wage will increase by 75 cents in July. Delaying the increase would have to be done by the legislature, but lawmakers are not planning on coming back anytime soon. Even then, Pritzker would need to sign off on the measure. He didn't like the idea when asked about it at his most recent press conference.
We need to not be talking about increasing their costs. We need to be talking about decreasing their costs and what we can do to allow them to get reopened and rehire employees.
The truth is that I think this the current conditions actually indicate to you more than ever before why we need to raise the minimum wage across the state.
The increase is set to take effect on July 1st. It will raise the minimum wage to $10 per hour. Then it will increase again at the start of 2021 to $11. Many parents are home taking care of their children. Other families are facing financial issues, and others have been directly impacted by COVID-19. For live emotional support, Governor Pritzker recommends using Call for Calm. If you're experiencing stress, you can text the word TALK to 552-020. This service is free and you'll remain anonymous. Governor Pritzker also introduced a remote monitoring program for home recovery. Healthcare workers can digitally connect with patients, providing daily virtual visits and health kits. OSF Healthcare is using this service to care for patients while safeguarding hospitals and limiting the spread of COVID-19.
As they can, OSF serves a role to provide essential services, but also human connection. I'm an emergency medicine physician by training, and I understand very well the critical need to care for patients in place for as long as we can care for them, and not to overburden the traditional healthcare environments. This is key to our survival.
As of earlier today, the Tri-County area reporting 2 new cases, bringing the area's total to 53. The 2 new cases divide to 1 in Peoria County and 1 in Tazewell County. This brings the total number of cases for Peoria County to 27. That's 19 for Tazewell County and still 7 cases in Woodford County. No additional deaths are being reported. McLean County is also reporting 2 new cases. County officials say its total is now at 77 confirmed cases. 3 people are hospitalized, while 28 are recovering at home. As of today, there are no additional deaths. The COVID-19 testing center at the McLean County Fairgrounds remains open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The center has loosened the criteria to include more than just essential workers. President Trump said he would spend the weekend thinking about what he calls the toughest decision of his presidency. As Natalie Brand explains, he's working to figure out when and how to reopen the economy.
President Trump is preparing to announce as early as tomorrow a new team of doctors and business leaders to help determine when and how to reopen the country.
We'll be announcing names on Tuesday who's on that, and that'll play a role, but ultimately I have to make that decision.
The White House is eyeing May to possibly get people back to work, but some in hard-hit areas are concerned that may be too soon.
We start to get back on our feet too soon. I fear, based on the data we're looking at, that we could be throwing gasoline on the fire.
There's no question we're going to be opening at some risk. I think that's inevitable. There's a lot of pressure right now from the business community on not just the administration, but governors as well to start reopening the economy.
But Dr. Anthony Fauci has said economic decisions will be dictated by what the virus is doing.
It's going to be depending where you are in the country, the nature of the outbreak that you've already experienced, and the threat of an outbreak that you may not have experienced.
A New York Times report says Dr. Fauci and other medical experts recommended social distancing in mid to late February, weeks before the White House guidelines were put in place. Dr. Fauci was asked whether that could have made a difference.
Mitigation earlier, you could have saved lives. Obviously, no one is going to deny that. But what goes into those kinds of decisions is complicated. But you're right. I mean, obviously, if we had right from the very beginning shut everything down, it may have been a little bit different. But there was a lot of pushback about shutting things down back then.
President Trump pushed back on the New York Times story, calling it fake news, and he retweeted a tweet that included the hashtag Fire Fauci. The president insists he acted early with travel restrictions on China. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Administration sources tell CBS News that neither Dr. Fauci's job nor his prominent status as a member of the task force is in jeopardy. The White House calls the story of friction between the president and Dr. Fauci overblown. From our Twin Cities newsroom, community members in Bloomington may soon be allowed to have alcohol delivered to their front door. City staff is recommending the mayor use his emergency powers to grant club liquor license holders temporary privileges. It would allow them to provide curbside pickup and delivery of alcohol. City leaders say this will help these organizations like VFW Posts generate revenue on products that might otherwise be sitting on shelves. If approved, the ordinance will go into effect immediately. Starting this week, Twin Cities students will be able to take a piece of the Children's Discovery Museum home with them. Museum staff will be delivering 1,000 STEAM kits filled with activities and supplies for kids to learn and play with. Leaders say students can pick them up at Unit 5's free lunch sites and at the Bloomington Normal Boys and Girls Club in Bloomington. After more than 3 decades of service, Washington's fire chief hung up his gear for the last time Friday as he began his retirement. Chief Roger Travers started his career in Washington. He also served communities in Pekin and Peoria. The chief aided New York with funeral services for fallen heroes during the days after 9/11. He also provided aid to those displaced from Hurricane Katrina in 2005. He says he's thankful to have spent his life serving others.
Throughout my whole career, I felt that I've always put the communities that I'm working in first, you know, and I pray that these communities have found themselves in a better place because I was here. You know, that's always been my goal.
Tune in tonight on WMBD News at 10 for our CI Heroes series. We'll dive into the chief's career and his message for the communities he's served. April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and the Center for Prevention of Abuse held a 5K marathon to raise awareness. WMBD's Austin Schick joins us now with how the Center for Prevention of Abuse found a way to host a 5K.
Nearly every 90 seconds, someone is sexually assaulted in the United States.
Unfortunately, abuse doesn't stop when the rest of the world does.
On Saturday, the Center for Prevention of Abuse held its 3rd annual 5K, bringing attention to the issue.
And hopefully by raising awareness, it provides a sense of comfort for those survivors that have not been ready to come forward yet.
The race is usually a group activity, but because of current virus restrictions, participants ran their own race and in their own space.
Everyone is taking pictures of themselves walking and tweeting and updating their Facebook status and sending in videos and Snapchats of everything that they're doing.
It's an event that everyone can get involved in.
I include my family, particularly my boys, because I want them to grow up knowing that these are important issues, that there is help.
Some hoped for the best time, and others might have just taken a walk with their loved ones.
It's a great way to support the center while still enjoying some time with family and friends.
Carol Myrna, CEO of the center, says sexual assault doesn't discriminate.
It's all ages, unfortunately. It's all genders. It's every culture. It's every profession.
She hopes events like the 5K raise awareness and hope for survivors.
All entry fees from Saturday's marathon went to the center and allows them to offer their programs free of charge.